Hey, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. You once again, welcome to the Kingdoms podcast, and I have with me today from the United Kingdom, Adam Cullen of the Cage Warriors. How are you, Adam?
Good, yeah, very good.
Very good. You are a Scouser. You are from Liverpool. Do you live in Liverpool as well?
I'm just outside Liverpool, mate. I'm not a proper scouser. I'm a
Not as
fake one.
proper Scouser.
I'm a fake one before anyone jumps on me.
Oh, the accent always give you guys away. The likes of Paddy Pimblett,
Yeah. He's got
likes
a
of
good,
Paddy Pim,
good shout, I
and
can tell you.
Molly McCann.
Yeah.
Like guys train together or something.
Yeah, we're all in the same gym. We're in Next Generation in Liverpool City Centre. That's the
Wow.
base of all of us.
Wow, interesting. So what's your relationship with Paddy like? You are lightweight, he's a lightweight, so I guess you guys would interact a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, we train together every day from from the age of 17. So for like 9 years or so, I've trained with Paddy. So
Wow,
yeah, know him in and out, so. It's been a long time. Yeah,
that's cool. Paddy the baddie. Oh, I think Paddy is, often misunderstood, right? By the public, but he's with this vibe of he's a real person.
yeah, man. Good, he's a good
Real
lad.
close. Is a good lad, right? Okay, interesting. Of course, I wish him the very best in the UFC. And of course, Molly McCann as well, right? The
Yeah.
Cage Warriors, the Cage Warriors seems to be like a pipeline into the UFC. You prove yourself in the Cage Warriors, and of course, it seems like you are definitely going to get into the UFC. You like that relationship between Cage Warriors and
Absolutely, yeah.
UFC?
It's a pinnacle of European MMA, and especially
Mm,
UK Cage Warriors. And I think everyone understands if you make a name for yourself on Cage Warriors and you pay your dues and you get your finishes, get your big wins. It's only a matter of time before the UFC come knocking.
interesting. Just like definitely with the likes of Conor McGregor paving the way for everyone. Like, what are your thoughts on the big stars like Conor McGregor from the Cage Warriors, and of course, recently, somebody from Cage Warriors that has taken the spotlight is Ilya Topuria.
Yeah. No, I think they're all obviously great fighters, aren't they? Even like the likes of Conor McGregor. It's good to see like a pathway. If you cut your teeth, do the work, pathways there from Cage Warriors to get that world stage, like the likes of your Ilias and your Conor McGregor. Um, so it's good to see it's good to know you're in the right place every time you step in there and put your career on the line in the big fights. It's good to know that if you get the results, that's what can happen. You can become world famous like the likes of Paddy and McGregor are.
That is great. There seems to be like a feud between them right now. Conor McGregor is saying some not so nice things about Ilya Topuria, and Ilya Topuria. Do you know what's going on in between these two guys?
I think McGregor just likes to talk about whoever's the hot topic at the minute, doesn't he? And
Uh-huh.
obviously Ilya proved on Saturday night that he's a man at the minute. So it wouldn't be McGregor without a bit of shit talking between him and the current champion, especially the weight class he used to be the champion of.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, McGregor's never going to fight a featherweight again, is he? And
Definitely
he never
not.
even fight in the UFC again. But yeah, you can always count on him to ruffle a few feathers, can't you? And talk a bit of shit to the likes of Ilya. But right now, Ilya's the man, isn't he? He's proven once again with that vicious KO just how good he is on the weekend by knocking out a guy like Max Holloway.
I'm telling you, like to be honest, right? Like I never really believed in Ilya. I'll put it that way. However, he has been able to convince me beyond reasonable doubt that he is a once in a generation talent. There are elite levels, and then there are legend killers. He's killed two legends, knocked out two legends back to back, right? So in the featherweight division, right, there's always that argument about who is the greatest of all time.
Mm.
So you have Jose Aldo. Yeah, we can put Conor McGregor in that conversation as well. Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, Alex Volkanovski, Max Holloway, right? So two of, the guys who are in that debate of the featherweights, the greatest featherweight of all time. He
Putting
beat
to sleep on
them
it, put him into that
convincingly.
shadow realm, hasn't he? Like, he's not just knocked them out, as he's done it very convincingly, where
Convincingly.
it
So
took a
would
long
you,
time for both of them to wait, didn't it? But yeah, the man at the minute, isn't he? Like, it'd be exciting to see if he carries on doing it, because if he carries on having performances like that, he could definitely go down as a great, couldn't he? Because his head movement and his counter punching and his little pendulum he gets going of his hands and his head moving and counter punches. The minute your hands leave your chin, you plant this on them like he's
and
super
that guy
skilled.
can
This is
crack.
super powerful.
That guy can crack. He's got
Yeah, he's got the
power,
frame for it, hasn't
fierce.
he? Got the frame for his style, just
Mhm.
down to a T. And he's very, very dangerous for anyone in that division.
Like he's pretty much like a tank, right? So he's a featherweight, but he hits like a welterweight. He's
Yes.
got the power for welterweight, and that's crazy. Like, I don't know, is that a freak of nature? He probably won the genetic lottery, because I don't know how you would be that small but have so much power in you. It's not just about the technique here; it's also that brute force.
I think it's
It's
50-50, isn't it?
amazing.
Like, some people are blessed with power, aren't they? And some people have got phenomenal technique. And if you can get one of these guys who are blessed with power and then give them technique like Ilya Topuria, that's when you get
Mhm.
the real dangerous guys. Same for Alex Brown. He's obviously got God-given power. Mix
Yes.
that with like impeccable technique, and then
Mhm.
you've just got someone who just touches you and puts you into a fucking another dimension.
Just gonna be running through guys in his division. So, do you think it's too early to start that conversation of saying Ilya Topuria is the GOAT of the featherweight now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's 15-0, isn't he? Like 15 professional fights, it's nothing, is it? The likes of like Alex Volkanovski defended the belt something like 5 times, and Holloway was the champion for years, wasn't he? It's I wouldn't say one title defense is enough for that. Yeah, obviously there've been great performances, but you've got to I think be at the division and be knocking people down for many years to be considered the GOAT. He's got the potential, hasn't he? He's got all the potential in the world with how the performances have been. But let's just see if he can carry on doing it. I think that's a tough thing, isn't it? Getting to the top's one thing, then staying there is
And staying
staying there's
there.
tough thing. Especially when you've got distractions like Real Madrid and all the things.
Yes, Sergio Ramos was with him.
Yeah, he's a popular dude, isn't he? And with
Yes.
all the fame and the glory comes distractions, doesn't it? So let's see if he can stay at the top with all that.
Wow. So, do you think, it's the next thing for him is having that fight, in Madrid? They say Santiago Bernabeu are happy to host the UFC, right? So fighting in a stadium that big, right? Like, do you see him becoming the next Conor McGregor, the next big star of the UFC?
I think in the Spanish speaking world, he definitely can. Yeah, obviously, um, he'd be the first star to cross over like that. I think he'd be the first star to a stadium in Europe. Obviously, no one's ever really done that before. They've never done like Wembley or anything like that. Obviously, Bernabeu, like what, like 100,000 people. If you could fill an arena like that and then put on another performance like that, he could become a household name. Well, MMA fans know who Ilya Topuria is, don't they? And maybe some casual sports fans, but like
Yes.
Conor McGregor, your mum knows who Conor McGregor is. Like, I think if you're doing stadiums like the Bernabeu and knocking people out, that's when you get the anti Joshua level of fame, the
Yes.
Tyson Fury that comes with that.
Anthony Joshua level. Speaking of Anthony Joshua level, I was at Wembley Stadium, to watch Anthony Joshua's, last fight, but it did not end the way I expected it to end. I am Nigerian, he is also of Nigerian heritage. So like I was supporting my own
didn't end too well, did it? But that's the thing, isn't it? Staying at the top for a long time. He's been up there, world championship level, hasn't he, for years and years and years, and Father Time's undefeated, isn't it, unfortunately.
Like, definitely, like, time definitely catches up with you. It's crazy, to see how when you're young, right, you are on the rise, you are the guy that has beaten everybody. But, when time catches up with you, the hungry younger guys are now after you.
Yeah,
It's just a cycle of life, You
absolutely.
at some point you are the hunter, and when you get to the top of the food chain, you now become the hunted.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because like being my age, being 26 and on the come up in the sport, you don't ever think about that. I just think like I look at all these guys in the UFC and think I want them right now. Like I'm ready to smash them all, put me in there with them and this and that. And then but one day it'll be the other way around, where I'll be in the UFC, I'll be coming towards the end of my career and there'll be young guys coming up gunning for me, but you
Yeah,
never really think about younger guys, do you? It just, well, like you say, it's just the natural cycle of life. Can you adapt and can you get out at the right time and not end up flat on your face?
exactly. And that's what makes me think about someone like Khabib Nurmagomedov. Like,
Yeah.
he left at his prime. Do you think that was a smart move? Do you think he could have done 30-0? He just did 29-0, right? He was very dominant, right? But he left
Yeah.
for
This
what
is
you.
nothing to say you couldn't have done it. Like, but just like the Jon Jones is at the minute, like no one's happy until you lose. Jon Jones goes out there and beats Stipe next week or whenever it is. The first thing people are going to say is, "Oh, but he wouldn't beat Tom Aspinall." But like
Yes.
that's been the case for Jon Jones for years. It was beat Gustafsson and it was, oh, he wouldn't beat Cormier though, and he'd beat Cormier, and he wouldn't beat Glover Teixeira, and he beat. Do you know what I mean? It just can't never ending. Like people aren't happy until you lose, and then the likes of Jon Jones, he goes and gets beat by Tom Aspinall. People will go, "Oh, well, Tom Aspinall's the best ever," and Jon Jones, like, and you just get forgotten. That's the nature of the fight sport. Like you can't win, can you? You can't win because you either people will say you left too early and you didn't defend enough, or you end up going out losing. That's the only two options, isn't it? So to lose at the end of the day, isn't it? And I think Khabib, look at him, like his stock's never been higher. The guy's an international superstar, isn't he, because of what he's done? So
Hmm.
would you have been that famous and had that many opportunities outside the cage if you'd had, say, another 3 fights and ended up losing one and maybe trying to come back and then losing that again, and then next thing
Hmm.
he's
And then you keep
30,
chasing it.
it's not the same, is it? So yeah, I think
Yeah, I think that's what happened to Anderson Silva.
exactly, yeah, and then the next thing is you're not famous anymore, so you're not getting the opportunities. But then you fight contracts like the biggest money you can get. So then now you're fighting for the £1,000,000 each time, that Anderson Silva probably was fighting for. But now you're just fighting for a paycheck, and you're not really fighting to be the best. But you're old, and then next thing, yeah, a lot of people forget, and when the GOAT conversation comes along, people strike off Anderson Silva. But at the end of the day, the guy was on like a 12-fight win streak in the UFC,
It
wasn't it?
was
It was
a hot
something
streak.
like that. But because of his losing streak at the end, people count him out, don't they? So there's no right answer, is there? Just do you. The only people who you catch going, oh, did he go too early, or should he stay, or blah blah. They've never done it themselves, and they don't know what it's like. Like it's hard enough getting in
Definitely.
the cage now at fucking 26 and getting ready for it. Like it's tough. It's a fucking tough life. Can't imagine being 40, having 30 professional fights, and still doing that. Like it must be so fucking hard. And I mean, you've got kids and family and bills to pay. It's just no one wants to do a sport like this for the rest of the entire life. You couldn't, because it is your life. So like the likes of Jon Jones, who's got kids and shit like that, he probably wants to just think, do this last one, hang the gloves up and be with my family. Like, you can't blame him, because from 23 years old to however old he is now, I think he's 37. Fight like his life will have been fighting 14 years of fighting, and it has to be, otherwise you can't beat Jon Jones.
So, speaking of Jon Jones, the fight everybody wants to see is Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, undisputed champion versus interim champion. And it seems a bit unfair that Tom Aspinall has had to defend that interim champion title, right? So we have Jon Jones versus Stipe, coming up very soon. I think that's in about 2 weeks from now. You see Jon Jones beating Stipe because there is a huddle, before Tom Aspinall. Well, it seems like everybody seems to be writing Stipe off. I don't know, maybe because of the passage of time. It's been a while since we've seen Stipe. But Stipe is no pushover. Do you see Jon Jones beating Stipe?
I
Let's
think
start with that.
he's definitely no pushover, Stipe. Time gets everyone, and I think Stipe's 41 years old now. Like he's had a lot of tough fights. He's been knocked down, shit like that. He's had injuries, and 3 years or so outside the cage. It's a long time. It's hard not being active when you're young. If you're not active when you're young, it takes away from your performance. And then I think being 41 and not being active is massive. And both of them have already spoke about it being the last fight and all that. It's just not a good mix for someone like Stipe to then come in and have a phenomenal performance. It just never really works like that. I can't see Stipe beating Jon Jones, to be honest. I don't think Stipe presents anything that Jon Jones has never seen before. But I think Jon Jones presents a lot to Stipe that Stipe's never had to deal with before. So I think it'll be a pretty convincing win for Jon Jones personally.
I think that's what everybody's saying. But Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, how do you see that playing out?
I think it's unfair to say, isn't it? Tom Aspinall's like a young man, isn't he? And Jon Jones is a guy at the end of his career. He's been fighting title fights since he was a young man. I think now Tom Aspinall will beat him, but in his prime, I don't think Tom Aspinall could get anywhere near him personally. Like it's Jon Jones, isn't it, at the end of the day, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I think I'd like to see the fight, but I actually at the same time wouldn't. I'd like Jon Jones just to walk away because, like I said before, no one would ever be happy until you lose. Like you
Exactly.
can't win the situation. So Jon Jones has done enough, hasn't he? He defends against Stipe. He's the greatest ever, isn't he? And no one can say that. And if he doesn't, like, it is what it is. They're both old guys, aren't they? But sticking around for Tom Aspinall, it's not like when he fights Aspinall, everyone will go, oh, okay, we're happy now. There'll just be someone else coming up behind him.
That would be another person.
Another guy and then another guy behind that, guy behind that. You just keep going until you lose, don't you, unfortunately? But if Jon Jones is going to be the master of his own destiny, I'd just retire and just leave it.
Yeah, like he's financially, okay. So I don't know, like, what else are you fighting for? It's hard.
Exactly. Trying to
It's
prove
hard.
to people
Like,
that,
yeah,
like, being there, never done it, and they'll never be happy no matter what you do. So why waste your time?
you already have a good legacy. So if I were Jon Jones, I don't think I'm going to fight any other person again. Even Francis Ngannou, for example, everybody wanted to see that fight, but I've made peace with
Yeah.
I've made peace with the fact that that fight would never happen. And
It's also the same situation. If Jon Jones goes and beats Francis Ngannou, people will just be going, oh, Francis Ngannou is shit anyway. That's all they'll say. And if Jon Jones beats Tom Aspinall, they go, oh, Tom Aspinall was no good anyway, but blah, blah, whatever. Roman
people
out,
will,
the next guy coming up who's 23, oh, he'll be Jon Jones, and then there'll be someone behind you. Just an endless cycle. Like, you can't win. That's the thing with MMA. No one wins in the end.
yes, you can't always win, The fans are always wanting more, and it's really crazy. And especially the casuals, right? It's
Yeah,
it's unfair the level of disrespect that the casuals, show to the fighters, because these people put their lives on the line, they put everything on the line just to, entertain you. And you still, the least you can do is at least be respectful to these people.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of people who've got a lot of things to say about like, fighters in general, but like they wouldn't say boo to agree if they're seeing you in the street. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't come in the gym and have a conversation, disrespect you like that because they know what would happen. Just shit houses, isn't it? That at the end of the day, that's all it is. So I haven't got time to listen to what the opinions of shit houses.
looking at you, right? How did you even get into fighting in the first place?
Do you know what? I don't even know. My brother bought a UFC game when I was like 11 or 12, and
Whoa.
I didn't even know what it was at the time. I remember just playing it and then finding out that it was like actually a real sport. I thought it was like a made up, box game, but
Oh,
it turned out to be a real sport. Yeah, yeah. And when I found out it was a real sport, I just naively thought I'd be good at that. Like obviously being 11 or 12. And then for the next few years, I begged my mum to let me train MMA, but she was having none of it. Uh,
yeah, the mothers don't like violence generally.
yeah, exactly. She didn't want me doing it. And then when I turned 15, I started selling sweets in school to get money, and then
Bro,
used that money to get the train.
enterprising man.
Yeah,
That's
use
my
that money to
guy.
get the train to go and pay for training sessions in a gym
Wow.
behind my mum's back. So that was the start to my MMA career. And then think from day one, I was just completely addicted to training. And you will be though, like I was so obsessed with it. I'd watch everything, every Ultimate Fighter episode, watched every countdown, every UFC event. And like I just knew from like 13 or however old I was, it was like I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life. And to actually be doing it is a crazy thing, and like going from such a young age and having that vision. But like I just knew, I don't know what it was. It was like some people call it like a calling or whatever it was. I just knew that like that was going to be my life, and I had to make it work somehow. And here I am today, fighting on big shows that I used to watch as a young kid, and being part of big featured fights for a big promotion like Cage Warriors.
Like it's really great to see dreams become reality, you know. Yeah, something you conceived in your head. Because for me, like I have this mantra: conceive, believe, and achieve.
Mm.
Like you need to conceive
If
it first. And
if you don't see the pathway in your head, it'll
yeah,
never come to fruition.
it it
You've got to
cannot.
have a goal and lock in, haven't you? If you don't have something to lock in on, how are you ever going to make it?
hmm But then it's not just enough to conceive it. You need to believe
Yeah.
you can make,
So
and then you can now achieve it. So I see that sequence where you conceived it, and of course you believed like this is what is for me, right? And you chased that pathway. So looking at chasing that pathway, did you got into the gym, you know, started training? At what point did you realize, okay, I am good at this thing? It's one thing to like something, to be passionate about it. It's another thing to also be talented at, you know, that thing. You know, when, you know, talent meets training, then you now have competence, right? So at what point did you realize that, okay, I am good at this thing?
I don't really think it was ever like spectacular from the start. Do you know what I mean? But like I'd watched so much of it, I sort of understood the sport like from a very early age, and like I've always like been like quite academic, so I understood things like on a level past just like having a fight. From day one, I was just wasn't necessarily the most talented. I was just obsessed with it, and
A
like
student of the
that,
game, true student.
then I'd get caught with something and I go on and I'm like, I want to know how to do that. I was just so obsessed with it. Like I was training every single day, but it wasn't like a task for me. It was stuff fun. Like I look forward to it, and I still am now to this day. I'm 11 and a half years into training mixed martial
Wow.
arts. And, like can't wait to get up tomorrow and train. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy getting better. I enjoy sparring. I enjoy fight weeks. I enjoy fighting. Like because this is what I've always dreamed of doing, and I'm on the path to getting to the UFC and being a superstar in the sport that I've always dreamt of. So it's never really talent. I had like a little bit of a knack for it, I'd say, but it's always just being pure drive and wanting to make it work. That was all it was. In my head, I was like, I'll only ever be happy if I become a UFC fighter and I become a superstar in the UFC. So the only way I knew how to make that happen was just to go fucking full throttle. And yeah, 11 years later, I'm still going full throttle. Like
Wow.
it is my whole life. It's the only thing I do. Like I don't go out. I don't have any other hobbies. Like this is my hobby, fighting hobby, and it's my job at the same time. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's beautiful to make your hobby your job. And you know, I like your story. Your story is really, really wonderful. I think about it. right now, right? So I consider myself, a very, very big student of the game as well. But in my own case, I discovered mixed martial arts way older, I think, like around 2018, 2019.
Right.
Yeah, I think Conor McGregor basically brought me to the sport,
Yeah.
especially when he was fighting Khabib. I think that was 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So,
Like 2016, I think that was.
okay, Conor
When
McGregor,
McGregor come on the scene, wasn't it? 2016, because
then
I
Ronda
remember
Rousey as
that
well.
I'd been training for a few years by then. And when Conor McGregor come out, that was when it become cool, didn't it? I remember training mixed martial arts at 15, and that had been 2013. And anyone older now will be laughing at this, but 2013, I remember training MMA, and it wasn't cool. Do you know what I mean? I'd be telling my mates, oh yeah, I go to this shed every night and roll around with fellas and spar, and everyone just be like, what?
What
You're mad,
exactly are you doing? It wasn't
why
cool
would you
back
do
in the
that?
day, but
Why would
now
you?
like it's getting on mainstream media now,
Yeah, now you're cool.
especially after the pandemic.
Yeah, after the pandemic, it was like, if you're an MMA fighter, you're proper fucking cool. But before, like, yeah, 2013 when I started, it was like, why the fuck would you do that? That's your kid. Why wouldn't you just play football? Or why wouldn't you box? And then I was just like, oh no, I honestly don't understand. It's so good. If you'd watched, I would used to say to people all the time, oh, if you just watched it, you'd love it. No, it's so sick. And no one ever did, and he never did, and he never did. Even like mates I've got now, were like some of my best mates come to all my fights. I'd say this to him when we were like 15, and they were like, nah, fuck off. Then when Conor McGregor come around, people started watching it, and then everyone was like, "Ah, yeah, it's dead cool. Do you do that Conor McGregor stuff? Do you? Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then now, like, yeah, BT Sports and ESPN, and
TNT.
everyone knows what the UFC is, and everyone sees cauliflower ears now and go, "Are you an MMA fighter, or do you do UFC, or do you know what I mean?" But back in the day, it was like, you're just a fucking weirdo. Yeah, that's all you were.
Exactly. And it's crazy to see how, the sport just blew up during the pandemic. Yeah, the UFC did a great job in helping the sport to blow up during the pandemic. Because looking at it, it's been on since like 1993. Yeah, the UFC started in 93, and they went through like different phases. It became well packaged. You have a proper sport, you have proper rules, right? You have a proper organization, managing the sport. And of course, you have athletic commissions that regulates the sport. So
Mm,
the sport became, quite, well packaged, so to say.
yeah,
But now looking at down the line, people like myself, anyways, I grew up in Nigeria, right? So the
right.
sport that was popular back in Nigeria was football, soccer.
Yeah,
Right. So every kid, that wanted to be cool would play, football. If you're not playing
yeah,
football, you're probably playing basketball or, some other sport, right? Or for the combat sports, we just used to do like the traditional, would I say, martial arts. Boxing, for example, was
yeah.
quite popular, yeah, back home, right? And you probably have the likes of like taekwondo, karate,
Mm,
and those traditional martial arts. Now, a lot of people who started, you know, mixed martial arts, say both the pioneers of the sports, even up until, would I say, just like 10 years ago, right? Usually came in from different backgrounds. It's in
yeah.
recent time, say the last 5 years, last 10 years, you get to see people who come into the sport and start training with the
That's
intention of
mixed
in an
martial arts.
MMA. Yeah,
Yeah,
in an
that
MMA
was how I
fighter, right?
started. I
You
never had
started
a
training
separate.
MMA, right? You did not
Yeah,
like
yeah, that
start
was
with wrestling or
no,
jiu-jitsu
no,
or
no.
something else, right?
The sport. When I was introduced to it, it was mixed martial arts. It wasn't like transition from whatever to whatever. Do you know what I mean? From day one, I was boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, doing jiu-jitsu, doing everything. Do you know what I mean? Because like that was the sport for me. And I feel like now that you say, like, when I was a kid, if you didn't play football, you were a nerd or you were a weirdo. So everyone played football, but now there's kids in our gym who are 7, 8, 9 years old who've only ever done mixed martial arts. Like that's their sport. But like that's acceptable now, and obviously back in the day it wasn't. So it's interesting to see that transition become a
It
mainstream
wasn't.
sport.
There's a question I like to ask, people in MMA, right? I have my philosophy on being a well-rounded fighter. I believe that for you to be a well-rounded fighter, the top three disciplines you need to master are wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and kickboxing. But for you,
Mm.
what are the top three disciplines you think a well-rounded MMA fighter should have?
Feel like it's less discipline. It's just like everyone needs abilities to finish the fight. So I mean, if you need the ability to finish the fight on the feet, you need the ability to finish the fight on the ground, and then you need the ability to take the fight wherever you want it to be. So you either need really good takedown defense to have the ability to finish on the feet, or you need really good takedown offense and ability to finish the fight on the ground. But I think the most important skill is being able to finish the fight, and that's why the likes of Ilya Topuria is so dangerous, because you could beat him up for 24 minutes and 59 seconds, but you only need 1 second to plant one in your chin, and that's the end of the fight. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have that finishing ability, you're not going to go far. And the likes of Ilya, his takedown defense is good. His takedown offense is very good. He can finish submissions and he can finish for striking. He decides where the fight takes place, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
So, in terms of categorizing them into disciplines, so what would be your top three?
You need jiu-jitsu, you need wrestling, and you need some form of striking.
So, what form of striking would you favor?
I think you need kickboxing, don't you? You need all like Muay Thai. That's probably the most.
Yeah, exactly. I think you align with my philosophy. Great minds think alike. Yeah, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and I don't know, like they're pretty much. I don't know. Would I say the same thing, or like Muay Thai is like a variant of kickboxing?
Yeah, the variants aren't they? But I think the MMA striking's got its own variant. Like I don't think you could strike like a kickboxer or strike like a Muay Thai fighter in mixed martial arts. It's its own little nuance, isn't it? But it's the ability to like bring
Adapt
in and
it
take away
to MMA.
technique to the sport. Yeah, that's where you have the real success.
Okay, I see that. Did you watch UFC 308? That was just last weekend.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, that was
Great
crazy.
card, wasn't it? Yeah,
The
great card.
card was crazy from top to bottom. Anyways, I had some wrong predictions,
Yeah,
I
I
do
think a
have
lot of
very
people
wrong
did. There
predictions,
was
but let's take it from top to
a lot of
bottom. Let's take
surprises.
it from the main. What did you say?
I said there was a lot of surprises, wasn't there?
A lot of surprises, right? But for me, I was predicting a couple of upsets anyways, so I think that's why I was quite disappointed. I was predicting Max to beat, Ilya, even though Ilya was
Yeah,
the favorite to win, right? But I wanted Ilya to, how would I say, Ilya to lose? Yeah, I wanted Max to win because,
I was a bit torn on it as
Max
well.
is,
Obviously, they're both superstars, aren't they? I think I wanted Holloway to win really, but I think it was one of them where you couldn't really call it either way, could you?
and Ilya did a great job, and respect to Ilya. In the end, it's just a sport, right? And it's essential to show respect to whom respect is due. It's essential to show the spirit of sportsmanship. If you're supporting somebody and that person does not win, it's essential to be graceful in defeat and grateful in victory.
Yeah.
But Hamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. What do you think about that fight? Finishing a former
It was
champion,
surprising,
elite
wasn't it?
level.
Yeah, I thought Rob Whittaker was going to do the job, to be honest. I thought he'd be able to stop the takedown, stop the submission attempts, and Kamzat would get tired like he did against Usman. Yeah, he's very, very good, isn't he? And I think he's going to give a lot of people a lot of problems, because he broke the lad's jaw with a rear naked choke. That's unheard of, almost, isn't it?
Crazy, like
Crazy.
broke his teeth. But I think it's a matter of time and chance anyways, because Robert said it himself that he had an accident,
Yeah,
when he was way younger, right? On that
yeah.
jaw, right? So jaw issues can are real, because for me personally, I have something the dentist called a small jaw, right?
Right,
Just small jaw or something. So basically, I had what do you call it? Impacted tooth, right?
right,
So the wisdom tooth were not growing in the right direction, right? So the dentist said because the jaw is too small for the teeth, right? So the teeth were going in the wrong direction. So I had to get surgery twice, right? To remove this one and to remove that one, right? So I am no stranger to, would I say, mouth, the malfunction of the jaw, right? So
right,
yeah, sometimes the jaw is not, in, it's not properly structured, right? And that could give you issues if you are into contact sports like that.
right.
So I feel like if not for that kind of a freak injury, right, he would have put up a very good fight. But we're not talking about what ifs and maybes. We're talking about absolutes, right?
That's it. Yeah. At the end of the day, he done
Like
the job, didn't he?
he got the job done, and
Mm.
big respect to him. Who do you think he should be fighting next? Chimaev.
I'd like to see it like an Adesanya or something like that. Obviously, it
Whoa,
won't
my
be long
boy.
before he's fighting the title, but yeah, I'd like to see maybe one more fight. Give Sean Strickland the rematch against Dricus du Plessis, because I feel like maybe he won that last time really, and he was robbed a little bit.
It was a
But yeah,
very close fight.
eventually I'd like to see Khamzat fight for the title, yeah, because he's proven, hasn't he, that he's that level. So it'd be interesting to see if you can do it again.
But what do you think? I think that Strickland is going to be skipped for that title. I think Hamza gets
Yeah,
that title
it could,
shot.
yeah. That's business, isn't it? End of the day, it's entertainment business, isn't it? Whoever brings the most eyes, and I think at the
Mhm,
minute Khamzat's the golden goose, isn't he? So wouldn't be surprised
mhm.
if the UFC skipped it.
Yeah, and probably we might see maybe Strickland Adesanya rematch, right? In the
Yeah,
meantime,
maybe, yeah, maybe. You never know. You never know.
he just never know. But for Ilya Topuria, who would you match him up against next?
I'd like to see him fight Diego Lopez, to be honest. I think Diego's done a lot of good
That's it.
work.
That's
It'll
the
be a good fight.
name. That's the name on my leap, right? That's the name
Yeah.
on my mind. Diego Lopez. That guy is.
Yeah, man, he was good. We managed to train with him in Las Vegas when we were over there, and he's very, very good. So I'd be excited to see him fight for the title. That'd be
Do you think he is on the level of Ilya?
he has to be. The guys who's beat Brian Ortega, hasn't he? He's beat Danny Gay. Yeah, he's at that level, isn't he? It's just can he do it against Ilya? That's the beauty of the sport, isn't it?
We can only wait and see. And it will be wonderful to see that fight at the Santiago Bernabeu.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? That'd be a
That would
cool
be
one.
super cool. Dana White, we are calling this. Make it happen. We know Dana White he doesn't like stadiums, right? He likes arenas. But come on, this is a
Two
European
Spanish
fight.
guys, two Spanish speaking guys in the Bernabeu. Will
Yeah, I will have a Spanish press conference.
yeah, it'd be sick. Be sick.
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Dana White, get that fight, Get a fight contract out. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. That was quite a
Yeah,
tough
it was
fight.
interesting, wasn't it? I think it was a bit of a bit lackluster in parts, wasn't it? But and Kalaev just knows how to win, doesn't he? Knows how to get the decision. And
Huh?
yeah, obviously Rakic is dangerous, but he done the work he needed to and got the job done, didn't he? So cool to see him. I'd like to see him fight Pereira next. That'll be the fight everyone wants to see. I don't think he'll win, but I think he deserves at least a chance.
Mm-hmm. But people thinking that Magomed Ankalaev is a champion in waiting, and I wonder why. A lot of people
Yeah,
think he's a kryptonite to Alex Pereira, right? Or he did not put his grappling on display in this fight.
yeah. I don't see how he beats Pereira personally. I don't really think he'd have anything for him. Yeah,
You don't see him beat it. You don't see him beating Portal.
no, absolutely not.
Whoa. So before we talk about the other fights on the main card, right? Who do you think, because we're talking about Pereira now and we've spoken about Ilya Topuria, who do you think deserves the Fighter of the Year award?
Oh, it has to be Pereira, doesn't it? It's got to be Pereira. No one's been as active as him and done what he's done. Yeah, it has to be Pereira.
So the close second has to be Ilya.
Could be, yeah, could be. But I think it's a no-brainer. Pereira's defended the belt like 3 times this year, hasn't he? And all been devastating with this devastating knockouts. It'd be silly not to give it to Poatan. He's the man right now in the sport, isn't he?
But then we need nominees for the Fighter of the Year. So let's have 5 nominees. We have Poatan, we have Ilya. So who are the 3 other honorable mentions
So it's a
for Fighter of the Year?
Fighter of the Year. You probably have to go with DDP.
DDP, yeah, he's achieved a lot this year as well.
And maybe Pantoja. I think Pantoja's got 2 wins this year, hasn't he? And he's fighting again, isn't he? Fighting again next month, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting again next month.
That'd be
the guy from Japan.
Yeah, he's fighting the debuting guy. And so no, it's a hard one. Yeah, I can't even think. Caught me off guard. Maybe Max because of the Gaethje fight. That was so cool, wasn't it? And then turned up and fighting Ilya, even though we didn't get the job done. Have to be Max.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool. So we'll see who wins it. Our boy from the UK, Liam Murphy, beat Dan Ige. Like, what do you think about his trajectory and what's next for him?
It looks
Liam
good,
Murphy.
doesn't it? It looks good, Liam. Like he's fast, sharp, his boxing's super technical, and he keeps getting wins against big guys. It'd be interesting to see if he can move up the rankings. He's not very well known outside the UK, is he? So that's what's always gonna cause an issue for him. But I do like watching Liam fight, and I'd be interested to see him against like maybe an Ortega, someone like that, someone high up the rankings.
And then he can bust into the top 5 and work his way up, an Edwards.
Yeah, they've got that similar style, haven't they? Very, very clean, very technical. They're good. How much longer are we going to do, mate? So I need the toilet.
Oh, okay, you can go, and
how long do you plan doing? Because I've got to get to bed as well.
Okay, so maybe 15 more minutes and we're
15 more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If we can make it like 5, 10, just so we can,
that's cool.
Because I need to get to bed. Right, 1 sec, we'll be back now.
Okay, bro.
Sorry, brother.
No worries, bro. So, I think the very last fight we have on that main card is Sharabulet versus Armen Petrosyan. Did you watch that fight?
Sharon, man, he's dangerous, isn't he? And I think he's going to give a lot of people problems. Sharon Bullet obviously is so dynamic, isn't he, with his striking and his ability to finish the fight with strange techniques that you don't see coming. He's a big problem, isn't he? But I'd like to see him against a grappler now. I'd like to see what his true MMA capabilities are rather than just striking. He's fought a lot of guys who haven't planned on taking him down, hasn't he? And being able to style out and show off. But let's see him against that
double spinning back elbows, crazy. And of course, man, finish that fight. Yeah, let's see him against a grappler. But he did call out Israel Adesanya. Like, I don't always think about that.
Yeah, but that's convenient though, isn't he? Level. He's not on that level, but like he's not calling out like Bo Nickel, is he, or someone who can give him other problems. Like if you're a kickboxer, you want the route of just fighting kickboxers, don't you? And it's easy to not get fraud checked. But I'm not completely convinced yet, to be honest. I don't think he's Adesanya. Yeah, I don't think he's Adesanya level striking. As he's fancy and he's flashy and he's beating these guys at the lower end of the UFC. I'd like to see him against a top guy before you give him the likes of Adesanya, Strickland, and all them guys that can have proven they've got complete MMA games.
Interested. Let's talk about your own fight upcoming November 15, right? I am going to be there. I'm going to be live. I got a ticket, the Kings Row A, so I'm just going to be right in front of the cage to see you, my brother. What's up? What are your expectations for the fight, and what are you promising the fans?
Yeah, no, it's a big fight for me. I mean, if you've been following UK MMA and European MMA for a while, you'll know of Tobias Avila. He's entertaining. He's flashy. He's a finisher. He's got a good little gimmick with his clown mask and his walkouts and all that. But
Yeah,
he's a
I did
very
see that.
he's a very
I
good
think the
mixed
kid
martial
always
artist.
advertise the fights with a gimmick mask.
Exactly. But but besides all of that, he's a super talented fighter and he's a super dangerous fighter. And when he was offered to me, I snapped the hand off for it. It's a type of test I've been looking for a long time. I knew that when I offered to fight him, he'd fight me straight away. He's one of them guys that he never shies away from a challenge. So I was excited to do it. In terms of the fight, with two proven finishers. I've got 8 professional finishes. He's got like 11. Like we're both guys that don't like to go to the judges' scorecards. You know what I mean? But I like Tobias. He's a cool guy. But I am a better fighter. I think we're going to meet in the middle of the cage and we're going to fucking have it out. And but in my mind, there's absolutely no way he can beat me. I am better, and
I like the
I'm going to
belief.
prove that.
I like the belief. Can't wait to see that fight live. So, what's your advice for like young up and coming athletes, in the sport?
You've just got to work hard. You've got to outwork everyone else. That's the beauty of MMA at the minute. Really, you can go as far as you want to go, but you've got to be willing to put the work in. Like there's guys like me who are in the gym 3-4 hours a day every single day, and don't really have anything to show for it. Like it's a long road, and you can't be disheartened by wins and losses and stuff like that. You've got to just crack on. But the good thing about MMA is that the losses make you better, and the hard times make you better, and it makes you prove to yourself how much you want it. So I think if I was a young guy coming up now, I'd just find the best gym and just live there, just live and breathe it. And if you commit yourself entirely, you can have whatever you want, can't you? You can make it as far as you want, as long as you're prepared to put the work in. I mean, like, look at me, 11 years in, and I'm still not where I want to be yet. It's not like anything worth having. It takes time, doesn't it? And if you want it bad enough, you can make it.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate you taking time out, in the build up to your fight and, having a chat, on the podcast today. I appreciate you. I wish you the very best. Do you want to leave a shout out for anyone before you leave?
Yeah, just thanks for having me on. Like, it's been a good chat. I've enjoyed it. So I'll definitely come back on in the future. And just shout out to everyone that's coming down on the 15th of November, and anyone that's going to tune in on it on UFC Fight Pass. It's definitely a fight you don't want to miss. Two dangerous guys going at it, and I think it's my time to stamp myself as a real problem in European MMA, and put myself forward to moving on to bigger and better things, and being a real dangerous lightweight in the world of MMA. So don't miss it, because I'm going to make a statement.
Hate man about to be made. Thank you very much once again, Adam.